welcome back to another episode of Not for the Weak Minded. So we're just going to get straight into it and talk about the elite's plans for the future using the guise of science and health. So this is a white paper from the Global Health Summit in Beijing in China, January 26th, 27th, 2013. So I say, without health, nothing is of any use, not money, nor anything else. How true. So, dreaming the future of health in the next 100 years. A white paper from, as we just said, written by Dr. Rennie Lowenson Training and Research Support Center, funded by the Rockefeller Foundation. Apparently, the views expressed in the report do not reflect those of the Rockefeller Foundation. Yeah, right. And should not be attributed to any individual delegate to the Global Summit except where a direct quotation is provided. Quotations from the summit used with permission, published quotes, reference cited. So, these are the acronyms. We're going to be looking out for artificial intelligence, AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. I bet most people didn't even know it meant that to begin with. And what does it mean? What does that really mean exactly? It means there's a lot of us that have been poisoned to the point where we've acquired an immune deficiency disorder, syndrome. Yeah, autoimmune problems is a result of lack of knowledge and allowing psychopaths to sell poisons as health. So we're also looking out for the old one and only Centers for Disease and Control, of course. Yeah, Dr. Fauci, Chief Executive Order, CEO, we all know that. General Electric, okay. H1N1, influenza A virus subtype, yeah, which is just another lovely name for the flu, which isn't actually contagious at all. However, because the virus is poison and it's a symptom of being poisoned by flu. Okay, so when you have flu, it's actually natural. It's your body's innate immune system dealing with all the toxins that have been collected into exosomes, and they then get excreted from the body through sweat and whatever means. So, and that is still not contagious. So, neither is coronavirus. Still the same thing. It's just H1N1 is never fancy name for a coronavirus. Same as SARS. Yeah. They just, although SARS actually stands for Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome. And I wonder why people are going to get severe acute respiratory problems in the future. It's not about a virus. It's about stupidity and following orders decreed by insane people. Are you with me? Hope so. International Council of Nurses, the Intellectual Property and James Grant School of Public Health, Joint Learning Initiative, the massive online open courses, non-communicable diseases, primary healthcare, Peking Union Medical College, Research and Development, Rockefeller Foundation, Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, as we said, which is not to do with a deadly airborne virus, but the fact that people are restricting themselves of oxygen, breathing back their own carbon dioxide, also breathing back in microplastics. Really good. Or at the same time as breathing in all the other stuff that's in the air, which is good for you, like barium and aluminium, etc. Strontium. From geoengineering, as well as the nanotechnologies. Yeah, it's too much. I know it is too much. But they're crazy, and they've got an agenda, all right. And these type of people, they're gonna see it through, and the UK is playing a huge role in it. alongside the United Nations and other people who've sold out to the World Health Organization. Bribes, falsifying and doing illegal practices, yeah, i.e. The death certificates, for one. Everything's COVID. That's bollocks. Yeah, if you're awake, as I said in my last video, you know what I'm talking about. Greatest medical hoax in human history. So, introduction from the last 100 years to the next. Organising whose dream? Yeah. What lies ahead? Trends shaping the future. What are we more certain about? What debates are and uncertainties do we have? And then, just straight kind of waking up in 2050. I think that these things are just well out there, just to keep us distracted from the things like, not that far fucking advanced. Not in my lifetime. We're not going to see it in our lifetime. Yeah, it's in our lifetime. Alright. So as you see, scenario 1, the scramble for resources. 2, health if we make it happen. High control, winners and losers. Healthy coverage, we're in this too. Hey, we all like that. We're all in this together, aren't we? Taking action for future of sustained health. So, and then this is about foundations for action, shaping values, thinking and learning. So, brainwashing, more indoctrination camps, and dirty bollocks. Sites of action, technology, policies, public health, means of action, transforming state, society, and enterprise. Well, that's what's going on right now, folks, isn't it? A means of action for COVID, part of it is transforming the state, society, and enterprise. Have you heard of the SPARS pandemic by Johns Hopkins Institute? If you haven't, go look it up. It's real documents, data. I told you in the last video, everything that you think is conspiracy is actually written on paper by the people that are saying it's a conspiracy. Yeah. Dear. Yeah, and what did I read that? I found so I can't remember what I was looking at. I was looking at other things, but it was a couple of days ago. I look at a lot of stuff, obviously, and it had future scenarios in it for 2029, and I thought that was just very interesting, and I just completely forgot about it. Didn't even put it to one side. I'll find it again if it's meant to be. But anyway, so where we're going now, if you study our history, true history, we'll know that the last century has been absolutely horrendous for the people of the earth, and it's only an illusion of freedom that we have, because we're actually enslaved by money and corporations, registered as countries registered as corporations. So there's a lot to go through in this, but I'm just gonna just flick through it and see what catches my eye. Obviously, you know the title of it now. You can go and look for it yourself. So the white paper does not make predictions or forecasts of certain futures. It probably does. It rather projects different scenarios for the future. It makes explicit the critical assumptions and uncertainties we have about the future of health societies and the different plausible futures they imply as a basis for creative thinking about how to shape the future. So, forecasting versus scenario thinking. They put a lot of money into these future scenarios and their plans, and it kind of shows, doesn't it, with this pandemic? Really, it does. You know, and then anything that's like free in this world where everything costs money, that alone should be sending alarm bells going, hang on a minute, You know, how are these people, who's paying for it, and then how are they making that money again? Who, you know, it's going in one pocket and going in another. We're certainly not making the money from it, are we? We're losing. So what lies ahead? Trends shaping future health. What driving forces will impact on healthy societies and well-beings in the next century? I will tell you what happened in 2005. You know, the World Health Organization and the United Nations and other bodies decided, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to formulate a plan, which we already had in the works, and by 2019 we are going to have to simulate, guess what, a global pandemic. It's the truth. It is simulation that's going on, and as in their own words, they want the stupid to kill themselves. Right? Now, I'm not calling people stupid, because there's a lot of smart people out there that are quite capable of working this stuff out, but it's whether they choose to or not. And a lot of it is, as I said in the last video, they choose not to. Until it impacts them, and then they'll start to learn. Oh dear. So this paper presents those that were seen as most influential, important, or actionable. Firstly, we present 5 key trends for which there appears to be higher level of certainty, like Dr. Fauci saying that in 2017 that Trump's going to have a surprise outbreak to deal with. Nah, not planned. You know, in fact, Rothschilds put patents in 2015 and 2017 for PCR test kits, which are contaminated deliberately with DARPA technology. Sick world we live in, run by sociopathic pedophiles, telling you all what to believe, all what to do, and you're all falling for it because they said so on the telly. Hysteria on steroids is what's happening now. It's also what's it where you have to pretend to be sick when you're not, and then the thought process of I'm gonna get sick makes you sick. By proxy Munchausen syndrome, is it? Something like that. The fact that fear is contagious too. Yeah, I've just put a video on YouTube just starting this one about how they could have potentially weaponized pheromones, and I guarantee it won't get looked at, even though it's a serious question. It will literally be seen as conspiracy, but you just gotta look at it. So health and physical, mental and social well-being has been fundamental to human beings throughout history. The desire for well-being that has occupied humanity for several thousand years will persist into the next 100 years. There will be greater demand and possibility for well-being after there than merely absence of disease. Not if these people are in power in it coming, you know. Still, new concerns around well-being may emerge, such as protection of sleep or managing continuous partial attention, and new contexts discussed further will shape well-being. Where's the rest of it? Oh, it's just full stop, sorry. So what are we most concerned about? We will live longer lives, greater possibility for healthy aging. We will be more urbanized and interact more with artificial intelligence. So in 2013, they're telling you outright, AI is a big part of the future. Whose future again? Is it your future? Or is it the future they want for you? Or is it the future you want? Because it's something you're going to have to think about. Because you need to know, in order to manifest a different future, Everything relies upon your thoughts and what you're trying to manifest. Secondly, you've got to know how to manifest your will in the first place, which is quite simple. If you learn about magic and spellcasting and how prayer works too, because it works both ways. We don't need magic circles to manifest our will. We just need our heart and mind to work as one, and essentially say the thing 3 times, or ask for the thing 3 times, and then give thanks. Know it's done, and it's done. Mate, these things take time to manifest, though, depending on what you're asking for, doesn't it? But if you're asking for healing, if you're asking for guidance, if you're asking for a sign of where you should be in life, these things work too. I told you, it is a form of prayer. It is actually knowledge of how to manipulate our reality, which has been hidden from us and used against humanity over the last century at least, particularly with the television, introduction of the television. So there will be greater possibility for longer, healthier lives. Not if this campaign of terror keeps continuing upon the population en masse. There ain't going to be many people alive. And if they are, they certainly ain't going to be healthy. And so, yeah, their projections are lies, aren't they? You know, their ideal future is something that I've been trying to warn people about, which is biblical, which is the Whore of Babylon, which was actually not just a place in Iraq, a city. No, it was a one world culture that went against creation, using knowledge of creation. It's the same thing that's happening right now in our time, as history is repeating itself. We're going full circle, and they're running out of time, but we're running out of time, and it's gonna crescendo, I think, into one big battle, and that may be by 2050. However, it depends on Revelation, and because people believe we're in tribulation already. My personal opinion is I don't think we are. I may suggest that it may begin when the collapse of the Western civilization takes place, because of war, and then 3.5 years go by, perhaps, and then the who turns up, and then by 2050 is irrelevant then, isn't it? So what's that? That'll be 2030 near enough, wouldn't it? End game. The transhumanism apocalypse. But I don't think so. I still think we've got a lot. Their plans go to 2050, and I think perhaps that's when the true end game will be. And as we know, we don't know the time or hour or place, right, so to speak. We know it's close. It's in our time. Still, 2050 end game, or 2030 end game. I don't think so. I don't know. Is the Bible a way of writing things with is it a warning, for example, and people saw these things in the past, right? Visions of the future, so that they could warn us. Or is it some kind of, manifesting type where we're the ones actually manifesting it because we actually want the apocalypse? Because we're literally reading it from the script. However, I know the Bible plays center stage of everything, and that it is the script in a way too. Different. It's not what we think, which is kind of why I'm going with the timeline being not what we think either. In regards to tribulation in now, perhaps, or already being started. I did watch an interesting thing about Barack Obama being the Antichrist and how he fulfills his bloodline fulfills 4 out of the 4 bloodline quotes from the Bible. I thought that was quite interesting. But in a way, we're all related to each other, aren't we? Somehow. Well, they are. Anyway, for sure. So the future is about climate change. Of course it is. The use of robotics, bioengineering to augment human functioning is ready, well underway, and well advanced. Re-engineering of humans into potentially separate and unequal forms through genetic engineering. Listen, they've already injected people with the GMOs. If you go and actually look at the AstraZeneca, fuck it, let's do it. I don't care. I'm sick of it. That's not the one I want. Where are we at? I'll do. So, these genetically modified human embryonic kidneys and HEC 293 cells, they also put this in the food, by the way. See, none of us have escaped this genocidal eugenics program. We are all, every single one of us, are victims, right, from birth of this insane eugenics program, and it's only got worse and worse and worse over the years. It stood unchallenged because most people think it's good for their health. You really think recombinant replication deficient chimpanzee adenovirus vector encoding the quote-unquote SARS-CoV-2 spike glycoprotein is good for you, when all you need is water and the right nutrients and a healthy lifestyle to be healthy and have a healthy healthy life. You need company as well, and you also need to be in a certain mental state of mind, which quite frankly most people don't have, do they? They're losing their minds. You have people lining up, yeah, to be the research, because the research that has been done on this wasn't told to you because it wasn't safe and it is not effective. The animals died, yeah. You wonder why? Because every time they're pumping you full of poison, these poisons are going to react with your body and it will give you AIDS. You will acquire an autoimmune disorder. I know autoimmune disorders have gone up on the rise. I know quite a few people, because I've had a transplant myself, that's still haven't woken up to the fact that they were poisoned to the point where they needed a kidney transplant to begin with, and they've gone and got the fucking vaccine anyway, right? Thinking it's good for their health, and it's sad, isn't it? You know, All for what? A apparent virus that it's got a survivable rate of 99% plus. It's shocking, absolutely shocking that they've got away with this and we've allowed it. How the truth is just belittled and mocked as if it's some kind of joke, right? Like changing your genes is a joke. No, it's not a joke. It's very real. This is all an attempt to contaminate, control, and destroy the temple of God, which is you, your temple. They want to disconnect you spiritually from God for in this realm and hook you up to a quantum computer. We'll go back. You will be interacting with bioengineering to augment human functioning. It's happening. They've already got a virtual Earth 2.0. That's going to be part of a augmented reality on top of this reality, and that's when the fun begins, because then I can kill you without any remorse, because you're not got no fucking soul. So good luck. Okay, do not take the technology into the body. Do not take the test. Okay, it's all a ruse for an agenda to transhumanize humans into robots, cyborgs, the black cube. I'm sorry, but I am ranting now, and I am really touched what they're really trying to say here. But I do believe you get my point. We're going to carry on reading, if you're still listening. So they want re-engineering of humans into potentially separate and unequal forms through genetic engineering. All mixed human robots raises debates on ethics and equality. Yeah, the moral lines have gone. Yeah, the government sold out for this agenda and they haven't told you about it. They literally want you to continually go towards the narrative of what you're being told, so that you actually keep trusting these evil bastards, that they have your best interest, when I've already said nothing is free in this world is good for you. Right? Not coming from them anyway. Oh, get a donut, get your vax. I mean, people did it. They were like, yeah, I really want to get a free donut so I can get this vaccine. Oh, next it's like, get a beer, a couple of beers, and get your jab. While you're at the football stadium, why not? Yeah? And then while we're at it, you know, we'll just track and trace you with nanotechnologies and insert an RFID chip into your hand, and away you go, sir. Yeah. For now, you've still got free will, but in the future, you won't. And it's true. They will take humanity's free will, and you will be a hive-minded slave, a hive-mind slave to an artificial intelligence connected to the Internet of Everything and all things, which we bow robots and bioengineering and basically creating genetically modified humans. Because once they've done that, anyone that's listening, by the way, that's been jabbed, highly unlikely, by the way, but if they are, I'm sorry you got duped. But now you're a patented technology. You are no longer a sovereign human being. You still can think you got a soul, right? But eventually they will cut that with the CRISPR technology. Your the VMAT2 gene and other genes related to your spiritual connection to the Akashic field, it's gone. They're going to cut it off using CRISPR technology, gene editing technology. And unfortunately, this is where it gets a bit dark, very dark. The black goo symbolism and what you see in the movies and some of the celebrities doing it in their videos. They're going to put alien DNA in you and make you a chimera. That's if you survive, by the way. I'm sure it's shocking. It really is. Technically, they've already made you a chimera, right? Technically, you could have already, under that name of what they've called it, chimpanzee adenovirus, you could actually be now part alien. You could have just been injected with alien DNA. Now, I did a video about how the crash near Roswell was at a place called Corona, and Corona then connects to Roswell, and this agenda has always been about Skull and Bones 322. It's always been about transforming humanity using technologies through the guise of science into technological biobotic slaves with no free will, no spirituality. Done. Completely done. You're done. Yeah? That'll be it. That'll be the end of your soul. Oh, wow. So a new demography is projected to emerge after 2030 of technologies. Perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps by 2030 it's the collapse of the Western civilization instead. Yeah? Perhaps. Yeah? And then after that because let's put it this way, right? Imagine now we've just finished a war before 2030. So between now and 2030, there's going to be a war, and quite a few people are going to die in that war. And essentially, after that war, a new society emerges. Check out Chatham House video. Yeah, you'll get if you really watch UK Column News, you know what I'm talking about. Where there's less humans but more technologies. After, per se, 2030. Are you with me? I'm just saying, I think the biblical timeline is more extended than what we believe, and it does go probably to 2050, rather than people thinking we're in tribulation right now. Yes, we're in very turbulent times, and there's a lot of chaos out there, but it ain't nothing compared to what's coming. Nothing, right? Mark my words, it ain't nothing compared to what we're going to witness next in the story, let's call it, in the narrative. Because war's coming. You live in a time of war. America's flag is a flag of war. It's not a flag of peace. Yeah? And America wants to take over the world with an agenda. Unfortunately, you know they're working with the UN now, because all the people that are working together, including China. I mean, China's was given the power by the West in a way, right? But because they're the same people, they're working for the same order, and this order, Mystery Babylon, it's taken a long time for them to create this, right? More than you can know. Almost 1,000 years going on our understanding of history, which is wrong. A little bit more than 1,000 years. So I'm staying on this page. You've probably read it. If you have, good. If you haven't, I'm going to move on. But you can see, before I move on, let me just this is crazy. Wow. Self-replicating robots. Debates will grow on the implications of impending reality of human design life. What do you think that means, man? Designed life. It means we're created. Do you understand? They're trying to recreate or emulate creation their own way. And to do that, guess what they have to do? All of this. By 2050. To absolutely emulate everything there is to do with the technological creation. It's called which is in a way, they're also emulating a one-word culture that came before it, that got destroyed over time and forgotten. And people might call that Tartar. I'm not going to call it that, because it isn't that. I associated it with the Phoenicians myself, and how they were a seafaring, contribution-based society that then slowly fell. There's a lot of people out there that's got hate on the Phoenicians. They mix it up with the Venetians. They also mix up Tartaria as a place name when it's actually just territory. The Grand Territory. That's what it said. Of these nations. Labels, eh? The trends in and consequences of climate change, resource scarcity, pollution, and urbanization are already apparent. Rising incomes will increase the demand for consumption, unmet by the level of distribution of resources, particularly in megacities. Health will depend on major reductions in the rate of burning fossil fuels and emission, chemical pollution, ocean acidification, and ozone depletion. Oh dear. As well as increasing efficiency and equity in use of energy, land, and fresh water, and expansion of carbon sinks. They don't care about saving the earth, folks. Okay? They say all this, oh, we need to save it. They're the ones that are polluting the earth. They're the ones that are doing it. Not humans, not humanity. We're just a means to an end. These people are the ones that are poisoning the earth. These corporations that are working together to poison the earth. It's no laughing matter. These Satanists are devils. They're sheep. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They hate the truth. The truth that we humans have a higher level of, we can access almost a higher level of consciousness, and we are higher beings ourselves, of light. They don't care about any of us, and the future they want, you don't want that future. I can assure you, you do not want that future. In fact, everything in my being is in this world is to try and stop the future the elites are creating for themselves, for us. Their ideas for humanity, not for me, not for millions of Britons that have woken up across the country due to this huge scam, and all the other people that never went to London last couple of Saturdays ago to protest our freedoms. Every single person out there that knows the earth's engineered and flat, it can never be a globe. Every person that knows that we've been lied to about history and ancient history, and the geological and cosmological principles. You're all the resistance, folks. Every single one of you that knows the truth, we all must stand in it at one point or another. And that is something to do with what exactly? Our beliefs. What do people brainwash people, what we've all come to be told since we've been born. It's bad. And we just gotta keep fighting, man. Every day, get the truth out there by any means necessary. Science and technology will advance rapidly with linkages across information, robotic, health and biotechnologies, profoundly affecting public health and medicine. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to affect our health and medicine. Well, it just talks about 3D printing, robotic, microsurgeries, blah, 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 blah. People, oh, it's so cool, it sounds amazing! I can live forever in a clone! Yeah. So what's this? According to Mitchell Zappa, an emerging technology strategist, understanding where technology is heading is more than guesswork. No shit. Looking at emerging trends in and research, one can predict and draw conclusions about how the technological sphere is developing and which technologies should become mainstream in the coming years. Yeah, we've seen these type of diagrams before, haven't we? This is just more truth in plain sight. People go, get out, it's just a chart. Yes. But it's more than that, isn't it? So there's society will be more informed, connected, independent, with more peer-to-peer learning. There will be demand and opportunity for health promotion and prevention of abnormality, linking personalised intervention to population health. Wow. Just says everything you need to know, right? That the vaccine passports ain't going away, folks. Yeah, this experimental trial doesn't finish till 2023, and the furlough scheme got extended till September. People will think that it's all over. It's all over. It's only just begun. The third wave is coming upon us, and they know from their own mouths it's going to be the double jab, and guess who they're going to blame? Oh, those pesky conspiracy theorist anti-vaxxers that are spreading nothing but fear and lies and deceit and misinformation and disinformation. Yeah, because we're real experts at that. Me, I'm a real expert at that. The individual. I have real power over everyone. No, I don't. But I know he does. And I think you do too. I hope you're understanding where I'm coming from here. Like, we got a problem. We got a serious problem ahead of us. And we don't run away from our problems, do we? We have to hit them head on. So how society will change? Will cohesion, cooperation, and inclusion dominate over isolation, individualism, and exclusion? What sort of language do you think they're saying here? What's happening around us? Isolation, individualism, exclusion, coercion. Yes, they coerced people to take it, using the mainstream media, using the power of suggestions on the television. Simple. It's called hypnotherapy, which is why everyone's in a complete and utter mesmerised state about getting a fucking vaccine that's designed to change the DNA for a virus that is not going to kill you, even if you did get it. According to the CDC's own data, yeah? Fact is, the government downgraded this to a non-highly infectious disease, yeah, not a virus, disease, March 2020. Yet they're promoting it as if it's still a deadly airborne contagious virus that's out to get you. No, the truth is freedom. Our freedoms is the virus. The truth is the virus. The mainstream media is the toxic poison for your soul. Will social and economic policies converge or diverge? Will inequality rise or fall? It's all United Nations garbage. Will it be business as usual or business? Will states lead or follow? What is the black swan bringing? Oh, at the heart of uncertainty and the unexpected. A century ago, in the midst of confidence that germs cause it, there we go. This is more propaganda for you, okay? Confidence that germs causes diseases would be eradicated in the 1918 influenza pandemic, killing millions. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Why is that wrong, you ask? Well, the experimental vaccine killed people, soldiers, yeah. Secondly, it was bacterial pneumonia, according to Dr. Fartsy, in a 2008 report because of masks. Masks. So you can go look up 1918 pictures of people wearing masks and then wonder how come they got respiratory SARS. They got SARS in 1918, didn't they? Wonder why. Is it because they were walking around with masks, contaminated masks? And the same protocols that are going on now are the same that happened in 1918. All to get an experimental trial vaccine into the population's arms through a medical emergency that never was, to fact, to begin with. Yeah, all those people that you saw dropping dead in China, that was staged. Just like George Floyd, right, is a criminal that's now being venerated as what, as some kind of hero. Fuck off. You know, stop accepting fucking good is evil and evil is good, right? Rioting is not the same as protesting peacefully, is it? No. Gee. After the US health leadership declared the age of infectious diseases to be over in the 60s, the world experienced pandemics of AIDS, SARS, and H1N1. And you can look up these things, and these things have been called out for what they were. Fraud. Yes, that's right. Scams. Medical scams. Hoaxes. You know, the same people that Pfizer, for example, has got 2.3 billion in court fines for bribery and for, you know, messing around with the stats. And you still trusted them, even though you could have Googled Pfizer lawsuits and you could have found out, oh, hang on, this company's not very reputable. Are they? They got a bit of a bad reputation, like Johnson & Johnson. They're really good providers. They're everything they touched is just gold dust to them. You know, they can't put a foot wrong, Johnson & Johnson. And as for AstraZeneca, yeah, I think it was FG Farbin, manufacturer of Zyklon B, which was owned by who? George Soros. It's all conspiracy, man. It's all conspiracy. There's no global plot to take over the world and humanity using technologies. What you on about, Keith? They haven't used the guise of science to trick everyone, have they? Nah, no deception here. We live in wonderful times of, and the people in power tell us absolutely everything we need to know. The truth. They always tell us the truth on the mainstream media, don't they? Always. They're very transparent. The government, especially with their accounts in getting caught with many different occasions to do with paedophilia, but it gets covered up, doesn't it? It gets forgotten by the masses, it seems, even though, again, you can just do a quick Google search on these things. Margaret Thatcher's fucking cabinet got away with it, didn't they? Oh my word, I am ranting. And why is this called the Black Swan? What is the Black Swan bringing? Symbolism. And there's no evidence whatsoever when they say there's mutations, and because they've never even isolated SARS-CoV-2 anywhere in the world, right? So, and even if it did exist, there's no autopsies being done at the minute because we're under a medical emergency. So how are we meant to know what people are dying with in the first place? Yeah. Oh, it's up to the doctor or the professional to assume they had COVID, then write COVID, even though on their list it says he's probably got he's had previous heart attacks, he's had strokes, and you know, he was on death's doors. COVID. No. It's sad and sick, and I can't believe so many people have fallen for it. It's unreal. It really is unreal. Oh, and then we're just going to wake up in 2050 for a minute, shall we? Scenarios for the future of health. We're going to take this with a pinch of salt, though, aren't we? Because this could just be for 2030. Aside from the black swan, 4 key uncertainties were identified, briefly summarised in the box. Of these, 2 are used in 2 times matrix to build 4 scenarios shown. Okay, so they've got their little protocols in place. There's nothing they can prepare for, by the way. They're just like we can. the things that are going to happen are going to happen as it's unforeseen events, so to speak. It's the same for the good side too. They're going to have unforeseen events that they've not took into consideration. Yeah, seriously. They have written plans for what they're going to do with people like me. And do you know what it is? Well, it's called death, eventually. Are you willing to die for what you believe in? Are you willing to die for the truth? Are you gonna let the government just walk all over us? Fortunately, currently, that's the case, isn't it? We're trying. And we have to try and stop this genocide, don't we? We have to stop this medical emergency because it was based on lies and deceitful prediction models that never came true. And they're still using the prediction models as if it was true, even though a whole, flu disappeared for 2 years. Where's flu gone? Where's influenza A gone? Just coronavirus, flu, where is it gone? 0 the last 2 years. Where's all the heart attacks and strokes and the top 3 killers? Why are they all depleted and gone down the last 2 years too? How come the death numbers match up almost perfectly as it would be, flu deaths and those deaths? Why is it that people can't see that the PCR tests, as stated by the creator, is not for viruses because they don't exist? They are taking a bit of your DNA and amplifying it. That's it. Yeah? And if they can't find anything in it, from dead cells to anything, RNA, DNA, it's not a test to be used. And yet people, they're locking down the country and then trying to mandate 2 tests a week, and asymptomatic health transmission doesn't fucking exist. Doesn't exist. There's no such thing. It's another bullshit made up paradigm to go with this bollocks that people have just fallen for. Oh, I could have it, even though you have no symptoms yourself of being sick. Yeah, and even if you was, you're not contagious. It doesn't work that way, as proven in 1918 influenza, when they did the studies and they tested it, and without a shadow of a doubt worked out that viruses are bogus. Vaccines kill, flu shots kill, this booster shot's gonna kill. Gene therapy is not the answer to health, is it? Natural disasters. There's nothing natural in this world, it seems. Everything's created. Terror and crime. Okay. I really, really wish people took more time in learning the truth than what the celebrities have got to say, or sitting there just scrolling through pictures of cats and other people fucking going, yeah, I got the jab, while scrolling through and looking for Facebook ads advertising the fact that once you have the opportunity of getting it, get it, even though it's a black triangle fucking trial, which should only really have been on the elderly to begin with, because they're the only ones that were vulnerable to this fucking virus to begin with. The children are not vulnerable. People at 30 to 60 wasn't vulnerable. It was only those at around 80 onwards that were vulnerable, according to the stats. Dodgy, isn't it? Yes, it is. Deliberate? Yes, it was. Why? Ask yourself. If you still haven't worked it out, why? Morning all. We are living in a competitive and insecure world. Yesterday, Global Health Incorporated sent the armed robots to a small pirate factory that had been 3D printing skin tissue for street sale in our poorer communities. You know the other sick thing that's coming? I'm going to stop this video now because it's gone on for long enough. I think you've kind of got the point. If you really are interested in reading these things, you'll find it yourself, won't you? The most sick thing that's gender that a lot of people are brainwashed not to see either is the cannibalism agenda. Outright. You know, the fact that they can grow. They're talking about celebrity meats, right? Taking cells from celebrities and growing meats out of them, and then getting the population to eat it. You know, if that sounds familiar to you, it is true. It is, because it's from a film called Antiviral from 2012, I believe, about people having all sorts of diseases from eating celebrity meats. It was a disgusting film. I couldn't even finish it all, and I'm not like that. I normally finish everything, and I'm like, this is awful. This is disgusting. I ain't watching it anymore. I know full well this is just part of the programming, and exactly, because I've looked at so much stuff to do with this, that is exactly where they want to go for the future. By 2050, by 2030, you could potentially be eating humans, own nothing, and you'll be happy. Because you won't know any better. You'll think that the government that you've just ran to after a war, which was our own fault to begin with, it's got your best interests, when in reality that you're just going to be running straight into this technological trap. And as they said, Boris Johnson and others, there's no escaping Google, which is why we need to fucking come together and act now. We seriously do need to come together. We need to do some serious work, let's call it, to fight back. It's got to be done. If we don't do anything, then we won't have a future. We have to come together and act sooner rather than later. Give it time. I'll be running to the hills. I'll be going where there's fresh water, or at reservoirs in near the Peak District. A place actually called Hope. That's where I'll be going to. You know, all this climate change talk, and not a single bit of this will talk about geoengineering. And then if it does, it'll talk about it in the light of, yes, it's saving the day, we're going to block out the sun, we're going to get carbon to zero, because Bill Gates is a lunatic. He wants literally that every tree that's on the earth, and human with it, to fucking die. So, what was that about carbon dioxide there? Just got a quick glance. But if you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen the video of him talking on stage at TEDx talk about how we need to get these numbers down to 0 and one of these numbers down to 0, and it was carbon. Sorry, Bill, but we breathe out carbon dioxide. You can go fuck yourself. And the trees need our carbon dioxide because they make our oxygen. So what are you doing, Bill? We need to be planting more trees, don't we? Yes. Yes, we do. Taking action for a future of sustained health. And that's all part of their Agenda 21 plan anyway, Agenda 2130 and on. Taking away our right to the land and claiming it as nature reserves and giving it back to nature, but in a way they're just literally going to fuck us over. Not give us access to these places. Keeping us in smart cities, yeah? Your little box rooms, prisons, hooked up to a virtual augmented reality. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Claiming precedence for equity and solidarity values. Kind of a bit like a Ready Gamer 1 or wherever it was. I haven't got the patience to sit here and read this entire thing to you. I know these people are so corrupt. Their plans are so disgusting and out in the open now. They're not hiding it. It's all on paper. It's not a conspiracy. And people need to grow up, don't they? They need to fucking grow up fast. Get it with the fucking program. Because they transform in public health and health systems right now, motherfuckers. There ain't going to be no NHS. And as I said in the previous video, most doctors are, well, brainwashed, aren't they, to work for Big Pharma and not actually cure shit. Only create more problems so that they can create more drugs to then cause more problems, which is, part of the paradox we're in, isn't it? You give me vaccines and a flu shot, that gives me an autoimmune disease. You give me a kidney transplant, there you go, hero. No, don't give me the poison and I'll be fine. Secondly, fucking these big pharma pushers that are actually doing the transplant should know that none of that's necessary to begin with. First of all, you can cure all diseases using sound, and secondly, you can cure reverse kidney function failure with nutrition. No drugs needed there. Just healthy and good advice, which every single doctor should know about. Yeah, nutrition. Which deficiencies are actually key to certain things that come out on the skin, for example. Because your body reacts to deficiencies. Most of us, iodine deficient. Zinc, probably. Vitamin D. The list goes on. All helps towards actually your innate immune system doing its job, so that you don't even get sick to begin with. Right? As long as you keep having exercise, sweating out all the shit of your body, having a good mindset and a diet, you really didn't have anything to worry about during this so-called pandemic whatsoever. And even if you were not the healthiest person, you still don't have nothing to worry about. I've smoked for 20 odd years, and I don't do as much exercise as I should. I'm not dead. I didn't wear a mask. I don't sanitize my hands. Right? Germs is a joke. If germs were real, we'd be all, and it was really that deadly, we'd be all dead. Seriously, because everything gets touched. Means of action transforming state, society, and enterprise. Touched by our hands, or how many people go around spitting on things? I don't know. No, hardly any. How much spit comes out when you talk? I mean, yeah, right, there's micro droplets perhaps, but come on. It's a joke, isn't it? You can't believe that. You seriously can't believe that saliva, like, first of all, that this deadly airborne virus managed to escape out of a level 4 lab, right, in Wuhan, then go into an animal, and then from somehow managed to go from an animal into a human. Sorry, it didn't escape a level 4 lab, did it? No, it just went in from that wet market, and it was a bat. No, it was a pangolin. What else was it? I don't know. There's many different things, and there's no proof of it whatsoever. It's all bogus. It's all lies. My point is, they lied. There's no evidence to prove. There's no evidence. No patient zero. There's no evidence of the animal that transferred to the human, and there's no patient zero that transferred said animal virus to others through saliva droplets. It didn't happen, yeah? It didn't happen. What did happen was a global, organised, well in advanced simulation of a deadly virus outbreak for a depopulation agenda and further agenda to control humanity, with transform humanity, as it says here, into something new. The New World Order. A one world economic religious order. Androgynous. Got to add that one in. Sinful, completely just no soul whatsoever in the end. By 2050, you will have no free will. The computer will do all your thinking, and you will turn on humanity, the rest that's still alive and that's chosen to go a different path to you. And guess what's going to happen? We're going to fight you. But you all know it. And we're allowed, by then, to do what the fuck we want. Right? You're not no soul anymore. We can take your head off, and we won't go to hell for sinning, because you got no soul. Right? Just got to wait. Just got to have patience. We got to have faith. This is the end of the game. Slowly approaching. You really think these windmills are going to save the day? No, not when they can geoengineer a storm, the size of Texas. Leadership for healthy futures. Oh, I'm not even going to bother. There we go. And it goes with the references. So what do you think? Please let me know what you think in the description. Take care. Till next time. Thank you.